What do I want to listen to this morning? Mm, oh, man. Oh my goodness. What's up, people? Good morning. It's not like early, early, but it's early enough to be a pain. So whoever's up, feel free to drop in and hang out. Probably gonna do a little bit of Forza Horizon in just a little bit. Uh, I got my uh Velociraptor 6x6 last night. It's a big girl. Just gotta make sure everything's good. Hmm. Looks like my latency is doing pretty good. Let's get game capture up and going. Oh no, that's gonna crash it. Cool. Oh man. So the other thing I'm gonna do. Let's see. Let's switch that over to this computer. Let's see. Just playing with the levels because I'd like to have that on the bottom. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. I know it's not going to be the most popular thing, but oh, I can find my controller. Okay. Let's see where we're at on all this. So I got about 34% done. I always do very badly at the Forzathon points. The king of monsters. Shut up, Google. Good morning, everyone. Let's see what else we want to do. I still have a little bit before I have anything else to do, so hang out and talk trash, because shouldn't you be working instead of watching me? Let's see, got that done. All right. Photo challenge. Let's go on and hit this trial. I am talking about you. Now I got a little bit of time Thursday mornings before anything really kicks off, so taking a short break getting started. So I don't have it on right now. I'm listening to I think the New York Times podcast. No, not New York, Washington Post. I guess local news for me at this point. It's going to be a little bit of a gap in what we're watching and listening to, but hey, y'all are joining me for my Thursday morning routine.
And to publicly share the scientific analysis.
Move this keyboard out so I can be a little more comfy.
So people can submit informed comments on the proposed work. This new rule change, which goes into effect today.
Same deal here.
Service officials broad authority.
I'm waiting on folks to get back to me on work.
Called categorical exclusions to bypass requirements under the law. Categorical exclusions are projects deemed to have no environmental impact.
Yeah, I got 20 seconds until
the one that goes into effect today. They will be able to be applied across the nearly 200 million acres of forest that the Forest Service manages. Allison Flint, a senior attorney for the Wilderness Society, explains that these categorical exclusions are really permission slips for loggers to cut trees and developers to build roads without informing local communities of the work that they're doing. One reason this Trump gambit is especially worrisome is that our forests are our biggest source of drinking water. More than 150 million Americans get their water from forests that Trump is putting in jeopardy. Number 3, Peter Debbins, a 45-year-old from northern.
Well, that was dumb. I always hate getting these.
Sharing classified information with his Russian handlers for more than a decade while serving in the army.
Getting sales calls.
With a top secret security clearance. In return for the information,
he going to jail now.
Betraying our country. Debbins says he was given $1,000, a bottle of cognac, and a Russian military uniform.
What?
In a sworn statement to investigators, Debbins says the Russians also offered him the services of prostitutes, but he claims he declined them. Debbins was a graduate of and teacher at the DC-based Institute of World Politics. This is a small but very influential school in conservative foreign policy circles.
All right, I don't want to do the Alpha. Let's go to Daytona. The Daytona is just so much fun to drive.
In early 2017, according to emails obtained by my colleague Rachel Weiner, Debbins told a friend that he was a candidate for a position on Trump's National Security Council, specifically Special Assistant to the President and Senior Director for Russia and Central Asia. Now, he never served in the Trump administration, but when the feds opened an espionage investigation into him, he had a job offer to be a contractor.
But Lockrocker, how you doing? How's VA?
Now, the Institute of World Politics didn't respond to our repeated requests for comment.
Got cold here real quick.
After we
it was freezing up here this morning.
All content referring to Debbins from their website. And that's the Daily 202 for Thursday, November 19th.
Let's
Thank
get
you
this
for
trial
listening.
out.
I'm James Holman. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
See, I thought that meeting was canceled. Yeah, I'll check this out in a bit. Oh, I can't pause this if the next thing up is booty.
What up, everybody? Welcome to this
I like this podcast, but it's not what I wanted to listen to this morning.
Brought to you by ButcherBox. I love ButcherBox. Why? Because
And
they
there we
make
go.
meat happen at my home. I mean, you don't have to.
So what we got here is the
explanation
Smoking
there.
Tire
It would still
podcast
be
with
great, but I'm
Matt
not
Farah. It's
It can be really
appropriate for
fun
a
to
racing
find
game, but
great
it's
100% grass-fed
I like to
beef,
catch up on
free-range
all of
organic
my
chicken,
news and world
heritage breed
reports
pork or
before
wild-caught salmon at a regular
I-
grocery store. You can go to a specialized butcher, but you're going to pay for
There
it,
we go.
and it means a second stop from the regular store. ButcherBox, they've got you covered.
Pull that
They
in.
believe everyone
Good.
deserves high-quality, humanely sourced
Maintain
meat.
this line,
It
flip
couldn't
that
be
corner,
easier.
pull it
You just sign up,
around.
select your box, and then they ship it right to your door every month. And when you sign up right now, you get their steak sampler with 6 grass-fed,
And
grass-finished
down the
steaks.
hill,
Because
keep the
best
power
steak
tight.
night is free steak night. Listen, I've used ButcherBox. They've sent me steak. They have sent me chicken. They've sent me sausages in the
Yeah.
past and pork.
That's-
They've sent me
I
fish.
half want a
It's all
dog
been
now,
really
so I
good.
have
It's a curated
excuses
selection of
to
high-quality meat delivered
get
right
out
to
and
my
go
house.
running
Each
and
box
stuff like that in the
has
morning,
9 to 11
but
pounds of meat, enough for 24 individual meals.
my
Packed
neighborhood
fresh,
is
shipped,
nice.
frozen,
I just don't know how I
vacuum
feel
sealed so it
about
stays
getting
that way.
out
I
before
can
the
either
sun's up.
customize my
That's my
own
biggest
box, which
issue
I've done,
most
or I
winters.
go with one of their pre-mixed ones. Either way, I can get exactly what I want.
Though
Now,
my yard
for a
is
limited
big enough
time,
where I
new
could
members are
do
gonna
like
get 6
sprints and stuff like
free.
that up the
That's
hill,
FREE.
but that's too much like
Grass-fed,
doing good
grass-finished steaks when
exercise,
they go to
right?
butcherbox.com/tire.
I also woke up this
Very
morning with a
easy.
bit of a hangover from how much I drank last night,
butcherbox.com/tire.
so
That's 2 New York strips and 4 top sirloins added to your first box, absolutely free. This offer is only good through
Listen to that
Cyber
Daytona
Monday. That's
coupe
6
go.
grass-fed, grass-finished steaks for free
until I
in
hit
your
into a
first
wall.
box at butcherbox.com/tire. That's butcherbox.com/tire.
Do the turns, power down the hill,
You
and
guys
oh
probably,
please, okay,
especially
cool.
if you follow me on Instagram at the Smoking Tire, you've probably heard about my new show, Sorted, brought to you by our friends at Auto Tempest, and I host it with Rob Ferretti and Amelia
There we
Hartford
go,
and
there we
Tanner
go, there we
Faust.
go.
It is a tuner car shootout show. We are airing the East Coast regional episodes
Give Bruce a
right
good
now,
rub for me.
followed by the West Coast regional episodes, and I'm about to go to Miami.
We have to find an
film
excuse to have you
head-to-head,
join.
season 1 winner episode, which I'm very excited to do. You can catch all the episodes as well as learn about all the cars, the hosts.
See,
and
I can't
think
read
even
chat
get
and drive
merch
at the same time. That's how like I end up weaving all over the road like that.
sortedornot.com. SORTED.
See, this is why you don't text and drive,
ORNOT.com.
especially drive a race car.
Sortedornot.com. Watch my new show. It's fun. The other hosts are fun. It has actual production value, unlike one takes. We had a sound guy. We broke cars. We got racetracks.
Yeah,
we were
look at
hot.
this,
I was
look at
sweaty.
this.
Amelia went.
Oh,
"Wee!"
come on.
And then I revved the
I
Super
am-
at 10,000 RPM. It was
I'm pulling my weight in this
fucking
race, and if
delightful.
my team lets me down,
Sortedornot.com. It's my new show. You should watch it. And of course, if you watch Sorted, you're going to see me wearing Dylan Optics sunglasses. It's the official eyewear of
if my
the Smoking
team
Tire
lets me
podcast.
down and we
Dylan
lose this
is
race,
just,
I will be
they're
so
such good glasses.
goddamn
I've been wearing
mad.
them for 10 years now. It's been a full 10 years. The matte finish lenses aren't just a look. Although if you happen to wear glasses on television,
I do
they
want
don't
some Dylan
reflect the
Optics
camera, which is
sunglasses.
very
Those
nice.
things like look
This glass
really
is
badass.
so good. It's like
Yeah.
HD life.
All right,
The
yeah,
NIR
about directions.
double
These really
polarized
pretty
lenses.
roommate.
They
Isn't
make
isn't that the point of a
everything
dog? Like
super,
dogs are
super
really
clear.
just like
I'm
big
out in the
freeloading
desert filming
roommates
a
that you
lot.
keep
I'm in the
around.
car all day sometimes, driving into the sun on the way home.
Right,
from
but I'm
a
gonna
shoot
change this
back
podcast
towards
because
the
this is not
beach.
what I want to be listening
Man,
to
my
right
eyes
now.
can be burning, but with the Dylan Optics sunglasses.
Good morning. The forecast for the Baltimore area is sunny with highs in the lower 50s and lows tonight around 40 degrees. I'm Mary Regalato, and here's the news from the Baltimore Sun for Thursday, November 19th. Brought to you by the SoFi Daily Podcast. Reaching financial independence starts with having the right information. Every weekday morning, SoFi keeps you up to date with important business news, stock market happenings, and how they affect your financial life. Search for SoFi, SOFI, wherever you get your podcasts. Governor Larry Hogan warned of strains to Maryland's healthcare system and economy as COVID-19 cases continue to surge. His remarks came at Wednesday's virtual meeting of the state's spending board, which he opened by reciting the latest discouraging numbers. Every day for the last 2 weeks, Maryland's case count has gone up by at least 1,000. Until this week, it had never grown by more than 2,000 in a day, something that's now happened 3 times. Maryland hospitals are now caring for over 1,100 patients with COVID-19. Some of them are reaching capacity, prompting state officials to ramp up a program to transfer patients. Hogan continued to make direct appeals to Marylanders to do their part to control the virus.
I guess I'll jump on and check out what it is.
He said, will rely on our willingness to take responsibility for our own actions. As Governor Hogan is tightening coronavirus restrictions, a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit that attempted to challenge his earlier executive orders. U.S. District Court Judge Catherine C. Blake found
this
that the
traffic is
plaintiffs
ridiculous.
failed multiple legal tests in their argument against the orders, which she found were not arbitrary, unreasonable, nor in violation of any constitutional rights.
The lawsuits that they be bringing up against some of this stuff is just so
cited
fucking
other
dumb.
rulings stating that that's not for courts to decide. The group that filed the lawsuit included business owners, pastors, veterans, Republican politicians, and an anti-restrictions group called Reopen Maryland. In consumer news,
you got to bring
shelves in
Bruce
some
up here
stores
one
are
day.
resembling the early days of the pandemic, with shoppers again
Once
loading up on supplies.
what's the word
But
I'm looking
retailers
for?
say they haven't been caught off
Once
guard
we're
as they
no
were earlier
longer
this year. Some big box
stuck
retailers appear
inside.
to have depleted stocks of paper products in some stores around the Baltimore area this week. But at some area grocers, shelves were stocked but included signs requesting shoppers take no more than 2 of some items. Surface cleaners and wipes can be harder to find. While manufacturers haven't yet caught up to the demand, store brand and less known brands are in stock at many stores. That's the news for now. For breaking news alerts, download our iOS and Android apps or go to baltimoresun.com/newsletters.
Let's look at my local news. Then we have NPR up
COVID-19
first.
has killed 250,000 people in this country.
The case numbers keep going up, as does the death toll.
We're in the darkest days of this pandemic.
So what's going to happen this winter?
I'm Noelle King here with Rachel Martin, and this is Up First from
See
NPR
comfort,
News.
food, entertainment.
In New York City, the biggest district in the country, schools are moving back online, and some parents are losing their minds.
There's just no recognition of the
Let me hit the wall. That's what I get for trying to read that message. Oh my god, I'm so dumb.
Options?
And the Trump administration has bet more than $500 million on one small company.
Yeah,
to become the task of
so
distributing COVID vaccines across the
my
country.
in-laws
Will the
brought their
investment pay
dog
off?
up here.
Stay with us.
The
We've got
only
the
thing
news
is,
for
like,
you
we have a
today.
lot of yard, but it's not fenced in. And our neighbor also has a dog, but it's old and fat, so Bruce would probably like run circles around them.
With the convenience of the redesigned First Republic mobile app. Visit firstrepublic.com/digital to learn.
Yeah, look at that
FDIC,
four-wheel drift.
Equal housing lender.
Support for this NPR podcast and the following message come from Acoustic. Acoustic is the marketing cloud that helps marketers get back to thinking bigger and connect with customers on a more human level. Whether it's moving, funny, or simply the truth, it's time to get that back. Learn more at acoustic.com.
There we go.
More than 250,000 people have now died from COVID-19 in the United States.
Yeah, it's a fucking
This is a
shame,
very hard
yo.
thing to get your head around. It's the population of
Too tight.
Scottsdale, Arizona. You could fill the Staples Center in Los Angeles 12 times over and still not
I
get to
need my team to
250,000.
do better.
And every
I should
member
not
is
be
a
the
person
one
who
carrying
had a
these
life,
races.
who
I
had
really
friends,
shouldn't.
or kids or siblings or parents. As of last night, 250,000 are dead. Now, back in March, Dr. Anthony Fauci predicted it could get this bad.
No.
At the time, a lot of us thought
You
it
assholes.
just seemed impossible.
And yet here we are. NPR's health correspondent Rob Stein is with us. Rob, I mean, the scale of the loss of life is hard to understand. I mean, Noelle tried to help us.
Sam was not
grapple with it.
amused.
Can you
The young
take
pup
it
trying to
further and
play.
help us put
Yeah,
this into
though
perspective?
my neighbor's dog's really
Yeah,
nice,
so
so
Rachel,
they might
each of
enjoy
these
it.
New terrible milestones is
She's
something
like
that
really friendly, but she's
start to feel
big.
incomprehensible.
Like not like big, she's
So I've
like
been
chunky
struggling to
though.
find a way to put
She's a
such
big chunky
stunning
girl.
goal into some kind of context. It's hard, and it's getting close to the
Oh, man.
291,000 Americans who died in 4 years of combat during World War II. I talked about this with Dr. Howard Markell. He's a medical historian at the University of Michigan.
There has been no
Probably once I
experience
finish
in
these events.
American history in the last
Oh, she's so
century
sweet.
that has caused
I miss playing with their
this
dog.
much carnage. No
Yeah,
war,
it like because the worst thing is
no
like so our neighbors had like 2 young kids and like not getting into oh don't remind me, I miss Penny too. Penny was the dog. I can't really say the dog I grew up with. I had like 3 dogs when I was a kid. Penny was the last dog that was like mine.
Coronavirus is believed to be a gross
my mom got that. My mom has always kept a dog because the dogs kept her company. She had a dog before I was born, and we eventually had to get rid of that dog because it was jealous. We got another dog that was not exactly. Oh my God! What in the world, AI drivers? Anyway, the other dog we had, I don't know. She was weird. We ended up giving her to our vet. And then like the last dog that I got was a beagle named Penny. I got Penny when I was like a freshman in high school, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe this.
None of us thought
my my junior year of high school, I ended up going to basically a boarding school. So it became my mom's dog to take care of, because like at that point I went to a boarding school, then I was off to college, and I was still relatively close to home, but it's not like I could take care of the dog, so it was like it was my mom's dog. And get that overtake. Let's go.
It's just
so yeah, it became my mom. It basically became overcooked it, not paying attention. It basically became my mom's dog to take care of at that point, and she lived with my mom for the better part of 14 years until like as dogs do, she was old and wow.
I'm really hopeful we don't get to 500,000.
What the hell?
It would start rivaling the
what in
kind
the
of suffering and death
what in the world is going on? I think like my network is chugging super hard. Ultra Instinct Racing.
Shocking and awful and unacceptable. It's not where we should be as a country.
So doctors like Ja are literally pleading with people to do it.
Oh God, that's not good.
Themselves.
All right. Oh God, I got another lap of this.
Head into the holidays, so more of us can be thankful for our help.
NPR health correspondent Rob Stein. Thank you, Rob.
You bet, Rach.
Oh yeah, this ain't good. This ain't good at all.
Public schools in New York City are going all virtual starting today.
Yeah, the mayor made the announcement yesterday. He was very direct. He said the city's COVID infection rate has passed 3%, and that's the threshold at which schools have to be closed.
NPR's Anya Kamenetz is with us now to talk about this latest development. Hi, Anya.
Hi, Rachel.
All right, team. The three of us win this. We got
One
this.
of the worst places in the country for COVID early on. Then things
But yeah,
get
so
better, and
Penny
then,
passed
the
away,
schools were open, and now
or
they are not.
we had to have her
So
put down.
what
She
led to the
was,
change?
if you put me out of there,
Mayor Bill de Blasio had
weird
previously
whiplash
set
of
this threshold
emotions.
of the 3% positivity rate on tests. In order for schools to close, if
She
they hit that
had
number,
just
we've been edging closer
a
over this past
laundry
weekend,
list
and
of
then yesterday,
issues
parents,
near the
journalists
end.
were waiting for
And
several
yeah,
hours
I miss
until the
her.
announcement
Penny was a
finally
good
came
dog.
down in the late afternoon. Now, 3% positivity, Rachel, compared to some places in the country, that's pretty low. It's a pretty stringent standard. New York is doing better than some neighbors, but the mayor and the chancellor.
But my mom ended up getting a new dog a few years later because at this point it's an empty nest. It's just her. She has a new little dachshund, a dachshund named Grace. She's a really cute little
what are
thing.
public health officials saying about the decision to close the schools?
And Charnel and I have been toying around getting a dog for a while, but like when I was working, I have a long commute, and we do good just keeping our house barely contained with the two of us there. Penny did snore like a whole grown ass person. Oh my god.
Schools have stayed open, and you're seeing very few places in the U.S. Here in New York City.
Charnel and I are looking at getting a dog for us. We don't really know which way we're gonna go.
Bar tomorrow since schools are closed.
Yes, this is what I was saying.
What we're gonna knock out next.
You know, I can still go to the gym, I can go have a glass of wine, but my kid can't be in school. I mean, what are the parents you're talking to saying?
Got that broad shoulders.
This is a big, diverse district. It's important to note
they
only
want
about
classic muscle on Broadway.
Have been going to school in person. There was a shocking statement made yesterday by the chancellor that 60,000 students in the district still do not have devices that they need to participate in remote learning. They're going to be getting paper packets. And, you know, I think whether families are dealing with hybrid or remote, the vast majority are just really worn down by all the changes in plans. And that's really true across the country. I mean, we're seeing districts shut down all over the place. I talked to Daniela Jample in New York. She started a petition to keep schools open.
That one's not really set up for the pictures just yet.
She feels like the city is taking parents like her for granted.
I think a lot of it is frankly like you're a parent and you love your children, so you'll just figure it out. But there's just no recognition of the insurmountable burden
get some more of these things set up to look really good.
And she added to that, especially
anyone else. I think the only photogenic car I have right now is my my Elephant Charger. So I don't want to like.
The nation is
as much as I'd like to foster a dog, in 15 minutes. Oh God, they don't change their servers for daylight savings time. There's no way I'm getting all this done.
Is betting on a small Connecticut company that says it has a way to get it done. We're expecting an announcement later today that the government is awarding this company a loan, about $600 million, to mass produce a disposable injection device.
Yeah, like we kind of wanted to do. We're considering fostering, but like it's just our schedules and stuff like that just don't work out that well for even taking care of a dog that would be ours. So I don't know. Like there's a lot of stuff that we don't really know because like even
which is exactly like it sounds. You get a vaccine, you put it in a vial,
what are the words?
Syringes, you distribute it, and then you stick it in someone's
arm.
arm.
Why am I doing this? Oh wait, no, I'm almost there. It's taking me longer to load in.
Finish is going to break down, and Apogex says it's the perfect backup plan. It says by January it'll be able to produce 45 million of its little injection devices with the vaccine inside every month. 45 million of them.
That's amazing. And I understand the idea of being cautious, but explain why there's an assumption that it's going to break down, why the need for a backup option.
Well, you know, if you remember during the early days of the pandemic, some of the testing supplies were scarce. Remember, some labs had reagents, others didn't. Some had swabs, others didn't.
Right.
So they don't want to see a repeat of that while we're in the middle of trying to get some 700 million vaccines out. So the thought is that Apogex can help if suddenly, for example, we run out of glass, there's a syringe shortage, because the injection device is self-contained. It's all made here in the U.S. They make this little plastic single-dose device, and then they make these little special sort of hypodermic needles that go inside, and that just smooths out the supply chain. And the executive chairman of Apogex, Jay Walker, he was the guy behind Priceline. He says it isn't just a COVID solution. This whole Apogex idea was originally conceived
where the fuck is
as a way to
Broadway?
help developing countries get vaccines.
This same technology can also be licensed to pharma companies as well around the world. So this is a breakthrough in how we believe vaccines will be packaged and delivered in the world ahead.
Do you know where are they in the process?
Well, they still need FDA approval.
I'm in the
Walker told us
whole
that he expects
wrong
that
part of the map.
will happen as a kind of combination deal that the vaccine in the
Continue.
Apogex
I like
will
this
apply
picture
for
though.
emergency
Save
use
it.
authorization. They just aren't there yet. And they need to do some studies to make sure that the vaccines are stable inside those injection devices, that sort of thing. But if all goes well, they expect they'll be ready in the spring, and if in fact they are needed.
I mean, are people optimistic about this? Is there an expectation that it's going to work?
Well, I'd say the experts are still reserving judgment. We talked to Nicole Lurie. She was the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response.
I'm pretty sure I was rocketing.
Human Services, and she says this isn't a slam dunk.
Wow, I'm
What
so dumb.
testing has
Yes.
been done to ensure that the materials inside that containers don't interact with the components of the various vaccines.
So I suspect that's what we'll be seeing in the days ahead.
All right, Dina Temple-Raston from NPR.
I actually kind of like this picture too.
Team bringing us
Dick,
this story. Dina, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, let's go and
that's the
save that.
first for this Thursday, November 19th. I'm Rachel Martin.
And I'm Noelle King. We appreciate you listening to Up First, and we think you might be interested in another
Broad
news podcast from
shoulders.
NPR. It's called Consider This. Instead of giving 3 stories like we do, they focus on
Share
one
that
story at a
out.
time and do a deep dive to help you make sense of the day.
Later today, they're going to have more on what it will actually take to make a coronavirus vaccine widely
What type of
available.
dog
New
could you
episodes
see
of
me
Consider
getting?
This drop at 5 p.m. Eastern. Check it out.
Oh, I think I knocked out my 50%. Oh, no, that's my Series 80.
The election is over, but with Republicans
Yeah,
questioning the results
got the
and
Hachi
control
Roke.
of the Senate still up in the
10
air,
minutes.
so much of the
What can I do in
political
10
world
minutes?
is yet to be settled. Keep up with the
How
latest
close am I
every
to
day
50?
on the NPR Politics Podcast.
I have everything else in here. I'm not even really rushing anymore.
This episode is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
I can get these speed zones knocked out.
Good morning. Welcome to Axios Today. It's Thursday, November 19th. I'm Nyla Boone. Here's how we're making you smarter today. A ruling on unaccompanied minors at the border. Plus, the FAA gives the green light.
I
to
can't
bring
do a
back the Boeing
bulldog.
Max.
I can't do a bulldog.
First,
Like
confusing COVID restrictions are today's one big thing.
as far as
As of yesterday, 250,000 Americans
it's
have died
just
from the coronavirus.
too many different.
And yet, we're seeing cases
what's the word
still
I'm looking
rising
for?
and government responses that are varied and inconsistent. Take New York City yesterday.
Too many health
Schools switched back
issues with
to remote learning
bulldogs.
as the
Like I
city's
wouldn't
COVID
really be
cases
looking to do a
But
pure
it's
breed.
keeping bars
Also,
open
Charnel
until
has
10
like a
o'clock.
pretty,
And you know, this is happening
pretty
all over
strict
the country.
size and
There's
weight
kind of
limit.
this string of partial restrictions as COVID cases are climbing. Brian Walsh is Axios' future correspondent, and he's here to explain whether these responses are based in science. Hey, Brian, I wonder if we can start with schools. As we said, New York City is closing public schools and moving to virtual learning only. Is there science that has backed up that decision?
The science over time has really made it clear that schools are not a major source of transmission for COVID-19. And this is especially true for younger kids. They don't really spread it very effectively. It could be because their voices are less loud, although frankly I have a 3-year-old, I wonder about that, but that does seem to be the case. We know that kids would be okay, their teachers would also be okay in the buildings themselves.
Okay, so we know schools aren't super spreaders of the virus, but are being shut down. And on the other hand, there are some states that are keeping restaurants open, which we know are high risk, and they're reluctantly.
Oh my
adding
God, this should be
restrictions
literally
like
the
closing by
easiest
10
shit in the world.
Does that matter?
I don't want a Dotson.
It's a small thing when you get down to it.
why-
Obviously, any kind of reducing of
No.
hours will, over time, reduce the number of
No.
people who are there. So you can make an argument that, yeah, that does reduce the risk somewhat, but you're talking about
Give me something
a
creative.
tiny
Like,
thing.
so
when at the end of the
I
day,
guess
we know very clearly that
Charnel's
indoor
want for a
eating is a
dog.
really major cause of spread here, and it's one where governments actually do have the
not a
ability to
Pomeranian.
leverage
What's that
and
thing
close this
called?
if they so choose. And some of them are doing it, some of them aren't.
What
I
does
think
the
a
science say
Yorkshire
about
Terrier or
spread
something
in
like that.
places
I can't
like
remember.
Salons or barber shops or retail stores, grocery stores. What do we know?
We don't actually know enough about a lot of those places because we've had a really hard time successfully contact tracing a lot of these outbreaks. At this point, it's so widespread and people are not really responding to contact tracers such that we don't quite know.
Alright,
So
I
we're
think
sort
that's
of
it. I
dependent
think that
on
does
more
it.
experimental studies. We know just restaurants because people spend, you're there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours perhaps.
I think
you're
that's my
talking a lot.
seasonal.
That's dangerous. Something
Thank
where you're
you.
there in and out and you're not speaking as much, like a retail store where you're going in and out and you can control flow, probably less of an issue. But it really does come back to dining at the same time. That is a big, important sector. A lot of people are employed. And if you don't give them any kind of aid while closing them down, that's going to be a major, major problem as well.
So as we think about this, do you
I'm
think
literally on the
our
clock.
political leaders in this country are following the science?
No, I don't really think our political leaders are following the science on this. This is such a politicized subject. And in some ways, Trump, because of the way he is a magnet for really strong feelings on both sides, has made it hard to actually begin to sort of dig through that and look at the science.
I have no idea
Brian
what
Walsh's
my
Axios
required
feature
speed is for the challenges here.
Thanks, Brian.
I'm hoping that does it. Yeah.
We'll be back in 15 seconds with the immigration blow dealt to President Trump yesterday.
All right, let's check the... I think that actually got me 50.
1 in
Boom.
3 American adults has a criminal record. JP Morgan Chase
I think a
is
Jack
committed
Russell
to
wouldn't be
helping
bad.
clear career pathways for people with criminal backgrounds by advancing policies to give them a second
I don't think there's any way. Let's see if I
Learn
can
more
get some
at
more.
JPMorganChase.com
I really wish I could have gotten another S1. Not that I need it. I already have one. Oh, God. I forgot
back
daylight
to
savings
Axios
time
today.
just screws up all of this stuff.
This year, the Trump administration and the
Wow, I hate
CDC
this
enacted
one.
an emergency immigration order.
we're
Because
gonna
of the
fast travel
coronavirus
here.
pandemic, officials were authorized to expel thousands of unaccompanied minors from the border. According to the ACLU, that meant the U.S. sent at least 13,000 children to Mexico, kids who should have legally been allowed to apply for asylum. Yesterday, a federal judge ruled against that order, halting border officials' ability to expel those minors who crossed the border alone. Steph Kite reports on politics at Axios. Steph, when these children are expelled, where do they go?
So, in many cases, there
I
are
don't think
children
that's
who
far
are
enough
coming
because I
from
think I have to
Central
get like
American
across the
countries
lake for
that
a
the
lot of
US
these.
then can expel to
89
Mexico,
feet
where they're
short.
not
All right,
there
let's
with
go
any
back.
family or necessarily know anyone who live in the country. In other cases, they have been transported by the U.S. officials to their country of origin in Central America, wherever they came from.
What happens now?
So the Trump administration will have to place them in the care of the Office of Refugee Resettlement, where they can go through the asylum process or other pathways of trying to stay in the U.S.
Why did the judge say this ruling was made?
The judge, U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan, said in his ruling that the government wasn't acting within the law that's set by Congress with how you're supposed to treat migrant children who come across the border without their parents. And so the judge said that the coronavirus isn't
Actually,
a good
I think
enough
getting a dog
excuse
like Wishbone would be
for
pretty
following
thematic
these
since
policies.
how
And the
hard
CDC
Charnel's
order
been
still
going
stands
on
for
reading
adults.
stuff
It
lately.
does. The federal judge ruling yesterday doesn't stop the administration from expelling adults or
Yeah,
children who cross the border with their
721.
parents. It still allows them to expel
Okay, I gotta get 80
families who
feet.
cross the
I
border.
mean, 800
The
feet.
Trump administration has had a strict policy of separating children who came with their families, which makes me wonder about
I don't think I'm going to be
President-elect
set
Biden and how he
to knock
plans
this one out.
to handle all of this going forward.
When it comes to what Biden will do, he has already said that he would stop the Remain in Mexico policy, but he actually hasn't committed to ending the CDC order. And based on the experts I've spoken to, Biden
Yeah.
could be faced with
Ooh.
an
So
immigration
we're
crisis
working.
at
We're
the
starting to
border
work
like
on
Trump experienced, and how Biden
Charnel's
handles that,
reading
given
nook,
the
her
increased focus
office.
on immigration policy, will be really
So
interesting to watch.
that'll be our next little
Kite
project
reports
coming
on
up. So we've
politics
ordered
for
a desk
Axios.
for her to go up there. We started ordering
It
the
was almost 2 years
stuff we
ago that
need
Boeing
to
was
fix the
forced to ground their
closets.
fleet of 737 MAX
I don't know.
jets after
There's more
two
stuff we're gonna
fatal
do
plane crashes
because like
that
that.
killed
Ooh, I entirely missed that was back there.
Yesterday, the FAA officially gave Boeing the go-ahead
I don't
to
know
fly again.
words right now.
Courtney Brown is Axios' markets reporter. Courtney, those crashes were caused by both a sensor that malfunctioned that pushed the noses of the plane downward, as
I think I'm
well as a
done.
lack of
I don't
training
think I'm
on
gonna
how
be able
to
to do a
deal
whole
with
lot
this.
more.
What has Boeing
I
changed?
got that.
So what they've done
Let's see
is
the
they've
festivals
made a
got coming
tweak
up.
to the software that
So
limits the
we got
system's
summer coming up
capability
next.
to force the nose of the plane downward. And the FAA has been conducting a series of
now I
certification
know
test flights of the MAX over the course of the last few months.
that
What are you hearing from the airlines about how much confidence
the
they have in
resets
these
are
planes now, as well as the
changing.
Airline Pilots Association?
I think they're confident
Oh
that the
man,
FAA
the
has
resets
done
moved to
everything that it
9:30,
can
Vice
to
10:30.
make sure that this plane is
It
safe.
just screws
now
up
the
all my
question is, are
timings.
consumers going to think it's safe?
That's
But-
the huge question, though, Courtney. I feel like people don't think it's safe to fly now anyway because of the pandemic.
People are hesitant to fly, period. by the time that people do feel more comfortable flying, in theory,
I think that might be it for me for right now.
will be in the air already.
I want to thank everyone that came through and hung out. Of course, the inimitable Lock Rockstar, keeping the chat bumping. I gotta find an excuse to get you on something. Is there other than oh my god, so you've been here, we'll have to show you, there's like a special spot. Oh yeah,
that's the trailer for the reboot of Animaniacs, a popular 90s cartoon variety show for kids.
I'm gonna pause that for a second. So we took you up there. Well, I don't think we showed you like the full, we gave you like most of the tour of the house. I don't think I gave you a tour of the attic, because there is actually like a little, like there's like a cold central wet place that we're gonna put the what are the things called, put the desk and like all of her setup stuff. But there's like a spot off to the side that I was going to claim for myself. It was going to be like a low seating spot, just somewhere to chill. But I don't know, like it is a good spot to throw a dog bed in. All right, so the summer reset's about to happen, but I got what I really wanted. I got at least my 50% knocked out. So I guess like part of my goals are gonna be is like I had this idea of doing Saturday morning Forza, Saturday or Sunday morning Forza streams. I called it something, let me see, let me go check my archives. What did I call this thing when I did this? Go to the channel videos, let's see, recent broadcasts, go fast and chill, computer into the season, space is the place. Because I tried it once and my stream didn't work because my old computer couldn't handle streaming and running Forza Saturday morning tunes. That's what it was. Yeah, there we go. So I call it Saturday morning tunes. So I would do that, check out music, tune cars, talk anime, all the other stuff. And then what's my other deal? Sunday I would be like more focused on doing racing and stuff like that, but like I can now like record and produce content for Forza, so that's my win. But work calls, it is a Thursday morning. I'll have some cuts, VODs, and highlights from last night's new mobile report noir up throughout the day, and videos will be available over on YouTube as well. Yeah, content's coming back again, so I can like make stuff. All right, y'all take care. Y'all have a good one.